If my work permit is expiring, should I still be learning French? This is one of the biggest questions that any immigrant who is on his or her work permit, they might have this question that, my work permit is expiring soon. Let's say it's expiring in 8 months, 10 months or 12 months, whatever the case is. Should I still be learning French? I'm going to talk about all the time frame that, when it is a good decision to learn French and what scenario may change if you start learning French 12 months before, 24 months before, and what will be the options available for you in terms of immigration. So first of all, let's discuss about the first basic thing, which is going to be if you're on study permit. So if you're on study permit, obviously your work permit, you still have to apply your work permit, and then there will be 3 years of work permit or probably 1 year of work permit if you're just taking 1 year of program. But again, if you're on your study permit, then this is the perfect time to start learning French, because what I believe is if you're on study permit, whether you have 3 months left, 4 months left or 8 months left on your study permit, you can complete A1, A2 levels being on your study permit. And this is one of the best things for you because it will help you take off a lot of load of French learning and a lot of pressure of French learning later in your journey, because once you are done with your study permit, you go on to your work permit. Once your work permit starts, that's the time when you can start learning B1, B2 levels, and easily you will be able to clear the exam right after 7 to 8 months of your work permit and learn B1 and B2 levels slowly over the year and give the exam and clear your exam. Now for those who have just landed on the work permit, obviously this is the perfect time. You're still in a very good spot. You're still starting very early. So I would recommend, if you're on work permit, start slow but start for sure, because even if you're giving 1 hour on regular basis or around 1.5 to 2 hours on regular basis, this is going to be the perfect time investment to learn French in about 1.5 years. If you've got your field job, one thing I won't recommend is now start working 60 hours. Okay, please do not start working 60 hours. It's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. I made the same mistake. I still remember when I started learning French, I learned it for 4 months, and then with my full-time work, I also took one more part-time job. I was working close to 55-60 hours. I thought that it would be possible to learn French while working that much, but it was not. It was a huge mental challenge for me. It just doesn't become possible if you are working 55 to 60 hours and trying to learn French. I know money can wait, you can earn 400, 500 less dollars on monthly basis, but that time investment that you will give into French will be worth later. Okay, so if you've started work permit, perfect time to start. Invest 1.5 hours on an average on daily basis, and within 1.5 years you will be able to clear, but max 2 years. Okay, so let's even take the max scenario, 1.5 to 2 years you will be able to clear your exam easily. But what I would recommend is still investing as much time as you can so that you don't get bored with the language. Okay, like if you just study French for 1.5 to 2 years, you at a point you start becoming frustrated with the language. So the recommendation is still to invest as much time as you can. Now for those people whose work permit is expiring in 1 to 1.5 years from now you are in a time crunch. Why? Because this is a point where you cannot think anymore that when should I start, or you cannot just be like, oh, I'll just study 1.5 hours on daily basis. No. You really have to concentrate all your efforts into a particular time frame, and you have to have a specific plan for yourself that, okay, if I'm investing XYZ number of hours on regular basis, I'll be clear the exam in N number of months. Okay, so this is the actual plan that you should have. So if your work permit is expiring within 1.5 to 1 year from now, then you should be giving 3 to 4 hours of French study regularly. Okay, that time investment has to be there. With that much of time investment, within 12 months, around 12 months, okay, around 12 months, you will be able to clear your exam. Now, this is recommended, and it is recommended to you that you learn French as intensively as possible, because if you're someone whose work permit is expiring in 1 year and you also gave your exam and you got your result in 1 year, the thing is there will be very little buffer time for you to get your invitation. So after giving your TEF exam as well, TEF or TCF exam, you still have to have like 1 to 2 months at least of the buffer time so that you can update your scores in your Express Entry profile, receive the invitation, get selected under French proficiency draws, and then apply for your permanent residency. Okay, now let's talk about those whose work permit is expiring within 6 to 8 months from today. For 6 months, it is not possible to get NCLC 7 in 6 months. I don't want to give unrealistic expectations to you. Neither there is any sort of like program or course or teacher who can help you get NCLC 7 in 6 months if you're a complete beginner, because it's just not possible to learn French in 6 months for NCLC 7. So you should drop that idea. You should still keep the idea of getting NCLC 7, but not in 6 months. Okay, what option you will have Let's say today you started learning French. In 6 months, you did not reach NCLC 7, but you were able to prepare to get NCLC 5 in speaking and listening. In that case, you will be able to apply in Francophone Mobility Program, through which you can extend your work permit for up to 2 years. For that, you do need to meet couple of requirements. First one is NCLC 5 in speaking and listening, as I mentioned. Second one, you need a valid job offer from your employer. And third thing, your employer on your behalf will be leading this application of the program called Francophone Mobility Program, okay? But because I'm not an immigration consultant, don't take this as a legal immigration advice. Consult with an immigration agent to know more about this, okay? So this is one option for you, which will help you extend your work permit if your work permit is expiring within 6 to 8 months, and if you feel like NCLC 7 won't be possible within that 6 to 8 months, okay? And obviously, because now you are in a time crunch, it is recommended to study as much as you can, 6+ hours at least, okay? 6 to 8 hours you have to study regularly to make this possible. If you have already got the work experience, and if you have enough savings for 6 to 8 months runway, if I would be in your shoes, then I would leave the job. This is what I'm personally saying. I'm not recommending anyone to leave, but if I would be in your shoes, where I have enough savings for around 8 to 12 months to be comfortable, and if my 1 or 2 years of work experience in tier 0, 1 to 3 is accumulated, then I would leave that job and focus fully on French. Let's say you started learning French, but after 6 months, after 7 months, your work permit expired. Then please keep on continuing your French journey. If your work permit expired, then your profile does not become automatically ineligible. Your express entry profile will still be eligible. Not a big issue. A lot of people, they get anxious over this thing. Oh, I only have my 6 months of work permit left. Should I start learning French or no? You should still start learning French. Why? Because worst case scenario, if you're learning French, if your work permit expires as well, what you can do is you can still be on visitor visa and continue learning French, okay? Let's say your work permit expired, but you are sure that after 2 to 3 months, if you give TEF exam, you'll be able to clear it. What you can do, keep on giving your TEF attempt, and once you clear, you just update that in your express entry profile and just wait for the French draw or express entry draw to come in and just get the invitation. Or worst scenario, for whatever reason you have to go back to India, stay in India, okay, and give 2-3 months over there as well into learning French, do the TEF TCF Canada preparation, and give the exam in India, okay? So whenever we talk about worst case scenario of learning French when the work permit is expiring very soon, it's actually not that bad, because even if your work permit is expiring in 6 months, 8 months, you should start now, so that whenever it expires, you still continue French and give the exam, or you can just go back to India for some time and then give your French exam. Once you receive the result, you just update that in the profile, you get your invitation to apply, you submit all the documents, get your PR, and then you can come back to Canada on permanent residency. So with French, even the worst case scenarios become like a positive thing for you, because some way is always there if you have the skill of French in Canada. If you would like to learn French for TEF TCF Canada exams and clear your TEF TCF Canada exam just like Darshan, Harleen and Bhavya, make sure to connect with me and I'll get you started on the proper roadmap to clear your exam. See ya.